Hello, nerds. We are doing our crazy new setup, or temporary, I guess should be the appropriate word. Crazy new temporary setup here for this reaction. Let's move this camera just a little bit. So, just because my life situation is less than ideal does not mean I can't keep bringing you content. Today we are reacting to finally the new Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. I've been waiting for this for a very long time. I never redid the intro for this show, so I apologize. It is still in the works. I'm just going to start talking about the things. So before we do get into any of the stuff, who the hell am I and why does this matter? Normally, I would go through my bona fides for why you should care about my opinion on music. However, if you are a watcher of this channel for any length of time, then you already know my obsession with Mortal Kombat. I have been pretty well obsessed with this franchise since the very first game was out in arcades. I'm gonna brain fart the year now. 92, I believe, is when that was. And it has been a defining characteristic of what makes me unique for some time. This is still bugging me. I apologize. So, I briefly was a writer for TRM. No, not TRMK. TRMK. I was trying to get a writer job with TRMK. I was briefly a writer for Kamidogu. I did some work over there. I've just been a super Mortal Kombat nerd for 30 plus years. 30 years. Yeah, 33 years is where we're at right now with the franchise. So I love it. I don't know what other bona fides you need. Bona fides, bona fides, bona fidos. Let's talk about our expectations real quick for this trailer. I expect something here to reassure fans of the franchise that the Cole Young debacle of the last movie, while obviously not a game breaker, wasn't a deal breaker, but it did not sit well with most fans of the longtime fans of the franchise. He was an unnecessary character that has never appeared in any of the games, and was the main character of the first movie for some reason. First movie in this arc, I should say. That being said, I think the other expectation for this, I think they really need to lay the groundwork for why all of the hype on the test screenings. Everyone's trying to make this to be some sort of Avengers level event, and I love Mortal Kombat. I will own this on Blu-ray just like I own the other movie on Blu-ray, just like I own the animated movie on Blu-ray, and that's hot garbage. Just like I own Conquest on DVD, and I have all of the things. So it's not going to change whether or not I'm going to enjoy this movie. I just think if they're trying to set this up for normies, if they're trying to set this up for people who are not hardcore fans of the franchise to be an Avengers level event, this trailer really needs to set that groundwork. We don't need to do a proper history because I've already kind of touched on all of that. Normally we would, though. So I think that's all of the things. Let's switch this over. Let's do this dang reaction finally. It's been 2 days since this, or it might have even been 3 days since this trailer has launched, and I've been trying to get all of this set up because my life is currently in chaos, so that I can do this reaction. Like, this is the first reaction back, so I'm super stoked for it. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
You want to know what makes a hero?
Turn off those captions.
It's not destiny. It's not something you're born with.
Is that Johnny Cage?
For greatness.
Carl Urban's voice?
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen for Mortal Kombat.
So there's the scene from the
Then
first trailer.
realizing you've had it in you this entire time.
Nice.
I really don't feel comfortable hitting a girl.
Don't worry. You won't.
Yo, send me back. I want to go back.
All right. So, oh wow, this is very short. 2 minutes, 24 seconds. So right off the bat, we have two different sides of Johnny Cage being shown here. We have Johnny Cage as comedic relief in the actual footage, the scenes that we're seeing, but then we also have serious Johnny Cage with that voiceover talking about the importance of Mortal Kombat, and that's interesting. I don't know that the character has ever held that much weight, so that's cool. Also, this with Katana. That's just badass. But that was in the first trailer. I also think this
I
bit
really don't feel comfortable hitting a girl.
super
worry.
badass as well.
You won't.
And the sound design here with the change in because that obviously that face mask is not actually on her face for that half a second that it's on screen, but they still changed the sound for it as if it were actually physically on her face. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Attention to detail is always welcome. I still feel like this outfit, this costume, makes her look super frumpy. Like the top bit is fine, but those pants just look like mom jeans to me. Every time even in the game, because this skin was released in Mortal Kombat 1, even in the game, she looks frumpy. They look like mom jeans.
You won't.
But that's badass. I appreciate the attitude from Princess Katana.
The rules of the tournament are simple. Our fates would...
Ooh, was that Sindel? What the heck?
The rules of the tournament are simple.
I mean, that is Adenia. Oh no, that looks like Katana. She's just wearing purple instead of blue. Interesting. So this is the fall of Adenia. That's the Kamidogu. That's Shao. Oh no, that's a monument to Shao Kahn. I see. In the last trailer when we saw this, I thought that was actually Shao Kahn. I think.
Fates would not be settled by the
There's Shao Kahn. There's King Jared. Dope.
size of our armies.
The portal looks so epic. Every time we get more footage of this area, it just looks so much more. And this time we actually have like camera motion through it, so we can see the parallaxing effect with that portal off in the distance. That is awesome. That looks beautiful.
It would be decided.
Kung Lao, Revenant Kung Lao. You see the blade on his hat is serrated, so they're fighting. They alluded to that in the last trailer. We got Scorpion, of course, because you can't do Mortal Kombat. Like, I don't understand. While I very much loved the opening for the first movie, the fact that they made it so far in the past, which mandated that you have a time jump, you also have the death of Scorpion, which again, yes, I know Scorpion dies, as Scorpion dies in every continuity, and then comes back as a wraith, but like that time jump doesn't really make as much sense, because then also Sub-Zero should have died in order to still be alive in the current year, to still be active, I guess, in current year. But he didn't die, so that doesn't really make sense inside of their own internal logic. But granted, it's a stray from the path of the original mythology, but I super love the design of him for this movie franchise. I'm definitely on board for that.
I'm not some champion.
The Scorpion noob fight, hell yeah!
For the fate of your world.
Yeah, Death of King Jared. That's awesome. This is gonna be pretty big. I still don't see Avengers level event coming from this. Ooh, and we see Kano sans I. That's kind of awesome. Listen to the music. Bam, 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 bam. Sindel and Sonya. Katana again.
Only chance.
All right. What the hell was that? The cinematography, if nothing else, is going to be beautiful to look at. Even if they completely screw up the mythology or they completely ignore all of their own internal logic and all the rules they've already set up, which very likely is going to happen. Not all of them, but I feel like they kind of have to change some of their internal logic in order for it to sit better with fans. And it looks like they're kind of leaning towards that, so that's pretty awesome. But what the hell is this? What is this? What is going on here? Shang Tsung is trying to take the essence of Raiden. He's trying to take Raiden's soul. Like, what? Are they going to... Interesting thought here. Are they going to actually do the Raiden giving up his godhood in order to participate in the tournament element from the first continuity? Because when we got the soft reboot in was Mortal Kombat 9. No, when was the soft reboot? It was 4? No, it was 9. Mortal Kombat 9 was the soft. It was I'm brain farting my timeline here. There was a like a super soft reboot that happened before 9. And then 9 was a pretty obvious reboot, and then 11 was also and then 1 was a pretty obvious reboot. For a second, I was thinking 11 and 1 were reboots, but no, sorry, tangent. Anyway, so the only time that we get the loss of godhood for Raiden, aside from the first two or the second movie overall, Annihilation, which we don't talk about, is the very first game, the story of the very first game. In order for Raiden to participate, in the tournament of the first game, he had to set aside his godhood and become mortal in order to participate in Mortal Kombat, right? So that meant he could still keep some of his powers, obviously, but that he was, he could die. So are we going to see that here? Or, well, I mean, that's theoretically the only explanation for what's going on the screen right now, right?
Our only chance to face this together.
Let's go, baby.
See, and everybody still has an issue with Bald Jade, and I really, really don't. It's whatever. I like Mehcad Brooks as Jax. I still think that's a really cool casting choice.
Johnny Cage are a part of this now.
Double teaming Shao Kahn. Ooh, that was a bigger fight than anticipated. So we have double teaming Shao Kahn. We have Katana and Jade, which very likely, I still believe this battle, because we got a touch of this in the last trailer too, I still think this battle is going to be Jade confronting Katana. Not necessarily the two of them training, but Jade sent to keep an eye on Katana, and they're friends, even though the Emperor doesn't necessarily understand that. So this is very, very probable Jade and Katana like having their little sister moment of, what are you doing? You're turning on the Emperor. And then Katana goes, the Emperor is bad and he killed my father, X, Y, and Z, right? So that's what this scene, I'm putting money on that. But oh no, that's the training we already know about. This right here. All right, so we have Noob, so Bihan, Noob, and Scorpion. And then, oh, do I have my draw? I don't. And then we have what looks like Kano, Noob's clone, and Liu Kang, maybe? You can't see who that is. Was that Cole? Please tell me that was not Cole. This looks like the death of Shao Kahn. If that's true, then that means they're going into this being the correction in that Liu Kang is supposed to be the champion, not Cole Young. But also, it seems that they're also leaning into the Mortal Kombat 11 reboot or the retcon rather, of the Cage family being the actual champions of Earth because of their green aura. That's where the green aura comes from, or what have you. So, I don't know. That's a little confusing. There's that. That's the image that they keep using for promos right there.
Get over here!
Yeah, Ed Boon, you get it. And then we have the proper theme song. Hell yeah! What is going on? There's so many things. All right, so we have Katana facing off against Shao. Dope. Then we have Raiden doing the Superman against. Oh, that's Shang. That's Shang Tsung right there. So, all right. So it looks like we have this battle, and we'll address the Kung Lao on the screen right now. But it looks like we have this battle between Raiden and Shang Tsung, and so it would seem, though, trying to piece things together like this, it would seem that at a point in the battle between Shang Tsung and Raiden, Shang Tsung gets the upper hand and tries to steal his soul because he's stronger than most mortals, because he is a god, even if that is just technically speaking, assuming he's taking part in the tournament, because we are supposed to be actually getting the tournament in this movie, because that's what the whole franchise is based around. Even though, fun fact, excuse me, fun fact about the tournament in Mortal Kombat. There are, in the actual timelines, the original timeline, there was only 2 tournaments for something like 6 games. There were only actually 2 tournaments. So that's kind of funny because it was game number 1 was the first tournament, and game number 2 was the one that Shao Kahn forced to happen. So that was the second tournament. Game number 3 was not actually a tournament. Game number 3, the storyline was you were defending against Shao Kahn trying to invade Earthrealm, even though he lost both of the previous tournaments. So yeah, just kind of fun fact. Anyway, so we have Shang Tsung and Raiden battling. Shang Tsung's going to get the upper hand and try and steal Raiden's soul. Raiden is going to come back because, fairies get their wings and people clap and whatever. And then it looks like that's where that Superman thing happens, is at the end of their fight. So that's going to be pretty awesome. What do we got here? Kung Lao, Revenant Kung Lao with his serrated blade hat. It just looks so awesome. Like, I'm just seriously loving this image on my screen right now. And then we have, this is very likely from the beginning of the movie, because this is Uncaged Fury, it looks like. It looks like they're on set. And they're making a movie. So this is Johnny Cage. This is probably actually, I'm gonna put a little bit of money on this one too. I bet that this right here, this little scene that we're cutting to ever so briefly, this is going to be something towards the very, very beginning of the movie. And then as we get, because it's about to show Johnny Cage like break the fourth wall and like wink at the camera or something. So, because we just saw that, right? I would just rewound. So that is going to then pan out to some degree, or there's going to be a cut from that at the height of Johnny's career, and it's going to cut to him packing his stuff into his car, like we saw where Raiden approached him, or it'll cut to him sitting at the convention, which they did at the beginning of the trailer, sitting at the convention, twiddling his thumbs where nobody wants to talk to him. It's going to be something like that. I bet I'm pretty certain that's going to be the setup for this. See, there's the wink. And then this is why we went back just now. So we have Scorpion breathing fire, which, not unusual, but the unusual bit is that's still his human face. That's not his wraith face. That's not the skull face. That is human face Scorpion breathing fire in the Nether Realm. So that's a choice. I don't see. So I've seen a bunch of like images from this trailer where we get an image of Quan Chi. Good Lord, my brain. And I have not seen that Quan Chi bit. Yeah, Baraka.
Johnny will definitely die.
Johnny will definitely die. All right. Where the hell is that Quan Chi bit? I didn't see that anywhere.
Bro.
That part where he's sitting at the con. That's what it's going to cut to, is them.
You want to know what makes a hero? It's not destiny.
I love the little sound bits here, the little cue of the theme song kind of playing on a plucked string. That's so cool.
It's not something you're born with.
Again, this is epic battle. Scorpion appears to be defeated because, of course, we need to create tension, right?
It's searching for
That, I think, is Quan Chi. That would make sense. The hood and the ceremony and such.
greatness.
But that's not the picture that we've been seeing. This is the battle between Shang Tsung and Raiden.
You have been chosen for Mortal Kombat.
You have been chosen.
Then realizing you've had it in you this entire time.
Whoa! I really don't feel comfortable hitting a girl.
You won't.
Yo, send me back. I want to go back.
The rules of the tournament are simple.
It's not in here.
Our fates would not be settled
Not
by the size of our arm.
there. He's not there. Where the hell is Quan Chi?
They would be decided
I love that so much. That's so cool.
by combat.
That fight is going to be so cool too.
Not some great warrior.
All right, hold up. That might answer the question of who is battling with them.
I'm not some great warrior.
Johnny. Oh, of course it's Johnny. Duh, that was dumb. I made a dumb. I am a dumb.
I'm not some champion.
And then we have Noob and Scorpion. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
He's not there. Death of King Jared.
Me.
Ah, there he is. Oh, that was rough. Okay.
Me.
Me. Right there. Oh, come off it. Oh God, that's so hard to get. All right, there's a little bit. Man, the prosthetics. So the reason it was imperative that we freeze frame on this image of Quan Chi, because this is really the only image we get. But like the stills that people have taken appear to have like an excessive amount of facial prosthetics, to the point where it looks like you can see the prosthetics through the makeup. On this, I mean, it's probably the YouTube compression, so very likely I'm not seeing it here, but on this it doesn't look like that's the case. So it has me a little bit more heartened for the look of Quan Chi. I'm super stoked with that ceremony scene where he's over whoever that is, Liu Kang or whomever, with his arms outstretched and stuff. That looks pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm very much excited about this. All right, so we don't have to watch the entirety again. I found the thing I was looking for, so let's cut back to let's talk a little bit more about this before we kick it. We're gonna touch on some final thoughts for this. It looks it looks like they're trying really hard. I'm totally cool with them trying really hard. Todd Garner doing great things. I'm on board. Is this an Avengers level event for the Mortal Kombat franchise? Ugh, I cannot say yes. As much as I think this is very likely going to be like top 2 of the Mortal Kombat movies, like I think this has the strong potential to bump the previous movie down a notch, because I don't think they're ever going to do as well as they did on the 95 movie. As flawed as it is, it's still the best thing we got. And it's the first Mortal Kombat movie, the first video game movie that was like worth watching, right? So that there's just way too much clout on that first movie for them to supersede that. This though looks like it's going to get pretty dang close to that same quality, because they're listening to the fans, they're listening to the community and going, all right, so the Cole Young thing was stupid. Nobody really liked it. We already have a character that is the analog for the audience, and that is Johnny Cage, by and large. It theoretically, in the game mythology, it was Liu Kang for a long, long time. For whatever reason, they're not leaning into that for this, probably in order to stay more in line with the current mythology, which makes sense. But Johnny Cage is the analog for the audience. And so that's what they're doing. They're using the character they should have used the first time for that role. That's cool. But again, Carl Urban still feels like a really strange choice for Johnny Cage. As much as I think he's going to knock it out of the park, I still think there probably could have been a better casting choice. This has not done anything to change my mind on that. It's a mixed bag. We'll say that. Much like I think the movie's going to be, so that's appropriate. It's a little bit of fan service. It's a whole lot of course correction, and it's a little bit of trying to engage a new audience, which, they should. They absolutely should. Though probably one of the, if not the most high-profile fighting game franchises in the history of the genre. And you can fight me on this, but you're going to lose, because, we had an Olympic skating duo do a Mortal Kombat homage. I don't think you can get more high-profile than that in the world, so whatever. I don't see this as living up to the hype machine. I think the community is going to appreciate it. Love it might be a little bit of a strong term for the community, just because most nerdy communities these days are extra super sensitive to any minor changes to their mythology. So I think the community is going to appreciate it. Very likely they will appreciate it more than the previous movie. It will not overshadow the very first Mortal Kombat movie from 1995. I don't think they'll be able to do that unless they completely start over again, which they're not going to do. I think this will very likely elevate the profile for the franchise a bit more, just because it is going to do very well. I just don't see it doing Avengers well. I don't see Endgame. I don't see any of that stuff in this. I will be happy to eat crow if that ends up happening. I just don't see it happening. So, all that being said, I love Mortal Kombat. I'm extra special hype for this movie. And what do you think? What did you think of the trailer? How long have you been a fan of Mortal Kombat, or are you still getting into it? Let's have that conversation down in the comments section, nerds. I appreciate you for sticking around, for hanging out and waiting for, well, nobody's waiting for me, but for hanging out and at least coming back once you saw that I started posting content again. That's pretty freaking awesome. That being said, we are going to cap it here. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining me. We will see you again very, very soon. I was not lying when I said in the social post that I will be doing more content more often. That is still the plan. The way in which I do the content is changed, but that is still the plan. So thank you very much, nerds. Again, we'll see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember that if it's genuinely nerdy, it's probably here.